Hey, I'm James. Welcome to Alternate Sides, a podcast about movies, parking, and a 25-year friendship. A practical note to begin. The audio in what you're about to hear is pretty bad in places. It was all recorded in a car or outside on Bluetooth microphones. We did our best. I think you'd get used to it. Sorry about that. And now, dear listeners, step this way. Gather friends and family and draw near to witness a death-defying exploration of David Lynch's black and white period drama, The Elephant Man. Marvel as your hosts digress into conversations about Michael Jackson, meeting your heroes, and James's probably terrible first screenplay. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Let's pull back the curtain. Whoa! All right, I'm gonna do a quick intro. Good morning.
Morning.
So we find ourselves through a strange confluence of circumstance, sitting side by side in the Subaru.
Welcome to the Subaru.
I can't believe my luck.
Have you ever sat in this car before?
No, it's not what I was expecting.
And have I ever driven you anywhere?
Oh God. No,
we should get into the story of me driving.
Well, when did you get your how old were you when you got your driver's license?
In my 40s.
Say no more.
Brilliant.
I think I just remembered, actually. I have to go. What is all this? There's scratches all over the thing.
This car, I told you that our friends basically gave us this car for very little. He was in construction, Jeff. Mm-hmm. And I think that he used this car as like his work car, basically. And so this is like where beams of wood have cut up the dashboard and stuff. But yeah, now, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to move. We're on Dean Street currently. Mm-hmm. I'm in reverse.
All right.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, not really, but okay.
Here we go. Look at that. Quite close. Mm-hmm. Watch that moped. So we're basically going to go to that next block. And then hopefully there'll be an 8:30 to 10 spot there, and we'll just sit in it.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Okay, so now look, here we are. See how they've vacated the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Now we're going to just swoop in here. Right, this looks like a good one.
We'll get the shade.
You want the shade up there?
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, God, what the heck? Oh, Jesus. There's a curb.
Beautiful.
Okay. I guess I can take my
take your seatbelt off and relax. Now, the question is, when the street sweeper comes, on this block, normally no one gives a shit. No one does anything.
The beauty of it is this dashboard is so trashed, I can just put my legs up.
Yeah, you're fine. You can do whatever you want. There you go. Car's off.
I just instinctively put the seatbelt on again.
All right, so this is it. This is what. Welcome to New York. Welcome to my side of the conversation. Yeah, so I sit here. We basically sit here now for an hour and a half.
Not quite.
It's not everything you thought it would be.
Not quite as romantic as I imagined.
As you pictured in your mind. So yeah, what's going on?
We lost a giant this week.
We did.
Cormac McCarthy.
In the same year that he published 2 books. He kind of went out with a bang.
Yes, but we should say, yes, he published 2 books this year. I don't know that he probably wrote most of them in the 80s.
That long ago, you think? You don't think he did anything?
I think they mostly were probably sitting around in manuscript form, but maybe I'm a cynic. For all we know, Cormac McCarthy was like a dribbling fool for the last 5 years.
No. He didn't he? He doesn't do interviews and stuff, but didn't he? He did nothing for this one, I guess.
No, I don't think so. He doesn't do interviews. But I was out in Santa Fe a month or 2 ago, and I thought about, should I go try and find him?
I'm sure he would have loved that.
You're not supposed to meet your heroes.
No.
I've met a few of my heroes, and some of them have been delightful, and some of them have been real assholes.
Who's been an asshole? Go on.
I can't remember.
They've all been delightful. You just wanted to
Well, I haven't met that many, I guess.
In fact, it's all a lie. They've been neither.
Well, it's nice
delightful
when
nor
people are
awesome.
nice. Like Danny DeVito, for example. I've actually spent a good, he and I, just the 2 of us, have had a couple of meals together. A delightful, wonderful, down-to-earth family man. And
He's
who
one of
else?
your
Ron
he-
Howard.
he's one of
Ron,
your
I had to go with
heroes?
Ron Howard too. Ron
Danny
Howard.
DeVito was one of your
But
heroes.
I don't know if he's a hero of mine, but he's in Twins, isn't he? So.
Did you see that movie?
And Romancing the Stone.
So we're here to talk about The Elephant Man.
Yes, let's see if we can get through talking about this without you trying to end it.
My name is John Dirk. That without doing that for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I thought we just do. If I do that, how about I'll do this interview in the style of John? I thought this was a wonderful movie.
Oh my God! I have to get out. I have to get out of here. Let's talk about 1980. David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Now,
here he comes.
David Lynch. The origin of this movie is so strange because the movie is produced by Mel Brooks, which is first strange thing about it. And the story goes that they had this script and they were trying to figure out what to do, and David Lynch somehow came aboard and they worked on it, and then Mel Brooks came on board, and then Mel Brooks basically said to the screenwriter, you're in, to the DP, you're in, basically to everyone except Lynch, because he didn't know who Lynch was, because Lynch had only made Eraserhead. And the story goes that they got a print of Eraserhead and they screened it for Mel Brooks, and David Lynch went down to the Warner Brothers lot or whatever it was, and Mel Brooks comes out of the screening of Eraserhead and comes running up to David Lynch and says something like, "You're hired, you crazy son of a bitch," or something like that. So then David Lynch does it, his second movie, and it's a hell of a movie, isn't it?
It's a great movie. Great movie. It's weird because it's a... Is it a Lynch-like movie? I hadn't seen it in a long, long time, but I always remembered it as being very straight, basically. But there are lots of things in there that you associate with the later Lynch. It opens with that crazy dream sequence of the mother and the elephants and all that, which is kind of crazy. And it's also got the fantastic sound design throughout. Wow, it's like that Victorian London industrial hum throughout the movie, which he loves to do, that blanket of sound. So I've got a good story about the first time I saw this movie, which is that I saw this movie in school, actually, when I was about probably, 11, 12, something like that. So in our school in London, we had RE, which was religious education. Right? There was a class called religious education. And all my friends were the not English. I basically had one English friend, one white English friend. All my friends were Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Iraqi, all the sort of South Asians and Middle Easterners. And they all came from families who were, somewhat religious. And so they all got passes not to go to both assembly, which was a religious assembly in the morning, and not to go to RE. And I was always jealous of these people because I couldn't get my parents were like, no, we're not religious. You go, and it's good. You learn something. I was like, oh, it's so annoying because they would just basically play football. They just have that lesson off. And the one good thing that came eventually of all these RE lessons is that the chaplain or whoever it was who taught that, and it was a nonsense mostly, the RE lessons. But one time, he showed us, over the course of probably 3 lessons, he showed us The Elephant Man. I don't even know why, but he showed us The Elephant Man. And I remember so clearly that it gets to the scene where Hopkins brings Merrick home. And his wife, they're trying to be very friendly. And the wife is trying to hold it together. And then he pulls out the photo of his, "Would you like to see my mother?" And she sees the mother, and she can't, and he just says, "No one's ever been kind to me." And whenever she starts crying. And I remember I started crying in class. Because I cried this time when I saw it. It's such a moving scene. But of course, a 12-year-old boy can't be seen to be crying. But I remember like wiping tears kind of surreptitiously in the class, and then realizing that other people were doing the same thing. And it was like this, and no one spoke about it, but it was understood that we'd all had this very moving experience from this movie that we didn't at all expect. And I remember that scene when it came on. I was like, oh, I don't know whether it was emotional because of the memory or because of the scene. I think probably a bit of both. But I always remember this movie from that experience of having seen it then. Maybe I haven't seen it actually since, in like 30 years.
There's beautiful, beautiful scenes in it. The scene where Anthony Hopkins first sees him, and you sort of push in on him, and he starts to well up, and it's...
Well, it's really well done, right? The way that Lynch reveals the Elephant Man. He keeps showing you the reactions. He shows you like he's in the freak show. Yeah. Then he shows you the audience. Then he shows you Anthony Hopkins. Then he shows you someone else. It's only with the nurse that you see him properly. And it's like the nurse is the ordinary person because everyone else has been built up in a way, and he holds him back and holds him back. And then he takes you upstairs into this like attic with the nurse, and that's the first time he actually gives you a glimpse of the Elephant Man. It's really well done.
Yeah, the whole idea of like the spectacle of him and implicating us in it, I guess, in a sort of meta way is interesting. As you were saying that, though, it reminded me of so many Spielberg. It's very Spielbergian to like hold off the reveal and keep showing everyone's reactions. Yeah. And also, I can imagine in the Spielberg version, it would be like the medium shot, slightly low angle, moving in on the person as they end with the John Williams score. I recently watched Close Encounters for the first time a few months ago, which I didn't love, but there's a lot of that shot, like the medium low angle shot moving in on some of these reactions.
On wonder.
Well, wait, first a little summary of the movie, although I think that most people know what happens. But Victorian London, and John Merrick is this, I don't know, do we say deformed person?
I think there's no other way to put it, really.
He has some developmental abnormalities.
To put it mildly.
And he's being exhibited as a freak. And then Hopkins plays the surgeon, who really is not very scrupulous. Like in the beginning, he's not doing it for the right reasons. Yeah. He sort of thinks of Merrick as like
he's the gold mine. He's
a curiosity that he wants to parade in front of his colleagues as like a
it's like, you really found something this time, haven't you?
Yeah, trophy, which he does, and then slowly he realizes that John Merrick is not an animal, that he's a human being. To me, that was the tagline. My memory of this movie is that was somehow became almost like a catchphrase, like life is like a box of chocolates kind of phrase. And I remember my mother, and I think my mother's boyfriend at the time, who lived in the towers and who was a Vietnam vet, and supposedly tried to throw my mother out the window one time.
Wow.
Also showed up.
That took a turn.
Also apparently showed up at the house with a gun once and was outside the house threatening to shoot.
Not one of your mother's better picks.
Yes. I mean, basically the story is this relationship and Hopkins becoming more human, I guess, to him.
It's very simple. The story is very, very, very simple.
But my issue is at the end, they take him to the opera or to the theater, and there's this pantomime, and he's dressed up in his white tie and sitting in the balcony.
Because an actress has taken a shine to they've become friends.
Yeah, Anne Bancroft, and so she comes out at the end of the show into the front of the stage, and everyone's muffled clapping with their white gloves in the audience. And she recognizes him, and he stands up, and she dedicates the performance to him, and everyone applauds, and it's like a standing ovation. And I was thinking, like, what are they applauding in that moment? What are we supposed to applaud? There's no achievement there. They're applauding for themselves.
The spirit of life. Applauding that this man, beset with all these difficulties and a life of torture, basically, has finally managed to get out of there and come and be in public. And
civilized public at the theater, wearing white tie.
Right, but also, I think they are maybe applauding themselves as well as him, and that this is the way it should be. We shouldn't hide this man in a mask.
Right.
We should celebrate him.
Yeah, I felt a little uneasy about that. There are definitely some scenes that are quite upsetting of him being mistreated.
The scene where the guys come in and they're partying. It's well done.
Oh, I should say this movie is designed by Stuart Craig, who was my wife's mentor.
Mm.
Speaking of heroes who are lovely people, like one of the kindest
Well, that's
and
good
just
to hear.
most lovely people, Stuart Craig, who designed this. He won an Oscar for English Patient.
Ooh, yeah.
He also did Shadowlands and, of course, all of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, yeah.
Really one of the last of the old school production designers. And this movie just looks so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I have another personal connection to this. My dad, for many years, worked at the Royal London
Mm-hmm.
Hospital, and
And so it was like a custodian? Was he a doing?
he was an oncologist. He
Someday we should talk about that too, because being an oncologist just sounds like
oof,
very difficult
I'll
work.
tell you, I'll tell you a story. The London Hospital was where you could go and see John Merrick's bones. They had them on display. And what's really weird is that when I was a teenager and slightly, maybe not even slightly, majorly obsessed with Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson bought the Elephant Man's bones from the London Hospital and had them taken away. And it was this really weird moment. I don't know where they are now. Maybe they're back. But I remember feeling like I love Michael Jackson, but that's a really weird thing to have done. Purchased this guy's bones and put them somewhere else. It seems very bizarre.
I'm just imagining Neverland Ranch and Michael Jackson and like young Macaulay Culkin and the Elephant Man's
here's,
skeleton.
here's John Merrick's.
Very
Yeah.
strange.
Is it a good movie?
You know, I was wondering that too as I was watching it because I felt like I have such a bias. I'm such a pro Lynch. Over the course of my life, he's been one of the consistent directors that I've been interested in, even though I don't love all of his stuff.
It's funny to me that you who are so, you're nervous about allowing things in and
Mm,
getting like emotionally invested
mm,
in, and he's like one of the most
mm.
disturbing filmmakers in the world, right? I mean, he creates images that, I mean, Bob coming over the couch in Twin Peaks is seared forever in every teenager's
Yeah,
brain.
that was one of the most frightening
It's just
moments.
extraordinary.
Twin Peaks, Bob
Uh,
coming over the couch. And why towards the camera? Why should that be so scary? But it is.
Because he doesn't go around.
It
Because who
goes,
goes over the couch like that? Someone who
yeah,
really fucking means it.
I guess so,
He's
yeah.
coming for you.
I
So
was
it's
a
funny that
huge Twin
you,
Peaks fan when I was in high school.
yeah,
And then, for a while I was in college. I really was into Wild at Heart.
yeah, that's a fucked up movie. That's
And
surprising.
anyway, so when I watched the movie, I mean, this movie, like, ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's beautiful to look at. It's kind of impressionistic at times. It's very moving. It's about these characters. So the answer to your question is I don't know. Is it good? I think it is.
I think I think it is a good movie for sure. I think it is. I think what's interesting is, to me, watching it, was how simple it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bare bones in a way. Like the
God,
sorry.
it is. It
Uh,
is quite bare bones.
there's nothing to it. It's basically doctor finds a freak and
Hmm.
then brings him into the hospital.
Yeah.
And then for one little moment, the guy gets the freak back, and then he doesn't.
You know what I did like is John Gielgud plays like the
It's
governor
terrific.
of the hospital or
He's
whatever.
terrific.
And it would have been so easy for him to be a villain. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like you can see.
Well,
I
he
feel
set
like
up at the beginning, like
if
he's
they,
gonna kick him out, right?
yeah, if
This is
they
not the
made that movie
place.
today, he would be like the bad guy
Yeah,
of like we can't have this man here, and I don't care. Put him out on the street and whatever. But he ends up becoming attached to him in a sweet way. And Gielgud, it's funny how he kind of appears around this time in several different movies. Like he's in Arthur, right? Doesn't he play Arthur's butler? And he's in Chariots of Fire, which is I think 80 or 81.
oh yeah.
And then there's this movie, and then so it's a funny little mini Hollywood thing. I knew him through those movies before I ever like realized he was
So John,
had this storied career and everything.
years later, he was in, remember the Peter Greenaway movie, Prospero's Books. I love that movie. It was a weird movie to have loved as a teenager, but I did. I really loved it. Have you ever watched any Peter Greenaway movies?
No, too scary.
And you like
When The
Lynch?
Cook, the Thief, His
Yeah,
Wife,
The
and Her
Cook,
Lover
the Thief.
came out,
Oh my
that just
God.
like I just the title of it made me
So
uneasy,
good.
and then hearing that it's about what it's about.
I saw that movie with my parents actually, which was 15 probably, and it was really more than the thing of there's famously at the end they cook the guy and they're gonna eat, you have to eat him and whatever. More than that, it was that there was a lot of sex in it, and like we're sitting there with my parents, on the VHS, going, oh, no, Helen Mirren keeps getting naked. But I remember thinking I'd never seen a movie like it. It's like got all these different rooms. Each room had a different color. It was spectacular to look at. It's quite hot. Should we do a little AC?
Oh yes, please.
Let's do that. Let's turn the car.
Yes, please. So, I mean, the thing also about the Elephant Man and Lynch is it does you see Lynch's fascination with the grotesque and with all the different members of the freak show and of the
he's in his element. He's in his element there for sure. And that whole Victorian London, this the everything's covered in black soot. Everything seems the air is hard to breathe. There's like great shots of the chimney stacks and stuff like that. It's really very good.
Well, Lynch famously lived in Philadelphia for a time, and he called it like the most frightening, time in his life. It was industrial, whatever. And I thought that when I watched some of the beginning of this, when you're going down these like desolate, like East End warehouse type streets, I thought this is Philly. He's channeling his experience in Philadelphia. City's got a lot to recommend in Philadelphia, I have to say.
When it came out, I think it was fairly mainstream, right? This movie.
Yeah, I think it was up for some Oscars and maybe even won.
Yeah, it's kind of a mainstream movie, right? So Lynch, second movie out the gates, he's making this quite weird, strange movie, but it's also plays like for the masses in a way. So does that movie exist today? No, not really, right?
Probably on a streamer somewhere, I could see.
Well, there would be a horror version, right? The thing about this movie is like it's got all the elements of the horror movie, but it's not scary. It's deliberately not. It draws you into, like at the beginning, like you're saying, the reveal and the monster. Don't show the monster. Don't show the monster. And it is kind of set up. Oh, here he comes! Look! Oh, here he is.
Street sweeper.
Here he is. He just went around us. No care in the world.
Look, he's cleaning the street.
He
should have done.
We should have moved, but we didn't. We didn't have a chance. He just zooms around. Look.
Well, you should have done it.
Oh, you almost got in a crash. That's it. That's it. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Look at him zigzagging in and out.
The street does look nice right there for that one little strip that he cleaned. It looks pretty nice.
If only we'd all moved. He didn't really. This is what I mean, though. They don't give you a chance. They just come bombing. If he just stood behind me for a sec, I would have moved. I didn't have a chance.
My daughter is texting me from Florence right now. She's gawking at the Botticellis.
Botticelli.
This woman walking her dog. It must be sad to be a dog in the city.
Why?
Just every once in a couple of blocks, you get a little like 3x3 foot square patch of grass that's been pissed on by like thousands of other dogs, probably.
You think the dogs care? Do you think they walk around on the asphalt going, "What's this?"
Well, should we talk about 1981?
Go on, then we can always circle back.
It's a short one. Okay. 1981, powerhouse year.
Really?
Another one.
Right.
Here are some 1981 movies that I have seen. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. I showed that to Wilder very recently. We watched it with him. He liked it. At first he was trying to be like, nah, and then he was like, okay, I like it.
So fun. Really just a collection of set pieces.
Yeah. Good ones, though.
But now I think we call it Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You maybe do.
I don't think it's Lucas has got his hands on it.
Good.
Stripes.
Oh yeah, the Bill Murray.
I loved that movie for a time. Chariots of Fire. I loved that movie. Oh my gosh! Even now, I could probably recite.
My mom loved that movie.
I could probably recite half that movie to you.
Really? I haven't seen it since 1981. I don't think.
Chariots of Fire is a movie I can't see with clear eyes because I've seen it so much, and it was such an important movie to me. It hit me at a very specific moment of being like a 12-year-old, or how old was I actually? I was like 1981. I was only 8-year-old Anglophile. All right, Blowout. That's a Philly movie.
De Palma.
Yeah, I think
you keep trying to get De Palma in here. Yeah. I don't like De Palma.
I remember when they were shooting that movie in Philadelphia, and my mother took us to there's a parade scene, and I think she took us to be. I might be a background artist in Blowout. For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes Only. Jimmy Bond.
Yeah. Gallipoli.
I saw For Your Eyes Only. I saw For Your Eyes Only in the cinema.
But you were like 6.
Yeah.
Gallipoli, a movie I loved. Another Peter Weir. It's a Peter Weir movie.
You do like your Australian New
My Dinner with Andre.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking about that movie recently. Yeah. Great movie.
Saw that for the first time a couple of years ago.
Oh really? Yeah. How was it?
Good. Zorro the Gay Blade, which I remember seeing in the theater. That's a movie you couldn't make today. Definitely not. With George Hamilton. So those are all 1981 movies I have seen. That's an amazing powerhouse year. All right, here we go into 1981 movies I have not seen. Escape from New York.
John Carpenter?
Yeah.
It's fun. I haven't seen that in a long time.
That was a movie a lot of my friends.
Yeah. That's funny.
An American Werewolf in London.
Landis.
Yeah. Landis is not
a great filmmaker.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of don't meet your heroes, I would give Landis a wide berth from what I've heard. But again, I don't know. Can we get sued? Is that defamation?
I think it's fine.
Yeah. Das Boot.
Ooh, that's a good one.
My father loved that movie.
You've not seen that movie?
German submarine movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Why would I watch that? So scary. My God. A war movie on a submarine.
Everyone's stuck on a boat.
No.
Das Boot. It's a good one. Yeah. All right. That's the front runner.
The Cannonball Run.
With what's his name? Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
I used to love that movie. How did you not see that when you were a kid? Everywhere we went, even in England, everyone was that movie was always on. We were always watching that stupid movie.
Too scary.
And the sequel. It's not scary at all. They're just driving cars around the country.
Too scary. You don't understand the emotional.
You don't understand
the emotional investment required.
Such a fool
to sit down and watch the movie. There's something about it. I don't know. Someday we'll get to the center.
Cannonball Run.
It's a trauma. It's a trauma response.
Oh man.
Thief. Early
Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Jimmy Caan.
Jimmy Caan. All right, that's the front runner. 100%.
Arthur.
You never saw that. Was too scary. I don't know how you avoided them. That's the weird thing to me, because to me, now we've gotten to the stage where these movies, and I probably didn't see most of these movies in 81, but by Cannonball Run, definitely by the time I was 8 or 9, that movie was on TV a lot. That movie, when you went to your friend's house, the parents would be like, all right, put on a movie for them, and it would be something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know. They were ubiquitous. And no, Arthur wasn't too scary. Just, mature audiences only. Sort of adult situations. There were some adult situations in there. Adult themes.
We couldn't have been more different. I'm sitting there with my parents watching The Cook the Thief.
Yeah.
And you were too scared to watch Arthur. Brilliant.
No, I was just doing...
No, I was just doing other things.
I was reading King Lear and what was I doing when I was 8? Hiding.
One long game of hide and seek.
All right, save two possibly good ones for the end here. Reds.
Oh, great fucking movie.
Warren
quite long, I will say.
Plimpton's in that, I think.
I saw that in the movie theater. It's got an amazing opening. Candid camera.
And finally, Ragtime.
The Doctorow book. Who made that? That's not Fosse, is it? Who made Ragtime?
Who made Ragtime?
Who made that? Who made that picture? Huh? Who made that picture? Give me that guy.
Milos Forman.
Ooh. He's good. I don't know that I've ever seen Ragtime.
I loved Amadeus.
Now that you say. There's a clear winner here.
Ragtime, score by one of my heroes, Randy Newman.
Yeah. Right, have you ever read the book?
No.
You ever read any Doctorow? He's great. He's really good. The Book of Daniel.
Hmm.
Fantastic novel. Sacco and Vanzetti must not die.
I am the Scottsboro Boys.
It's all about the people. Yeah. Anyway,
You could make a great Sacco and Vanzetti movie. Or I had this. I did. My first screenplay that I wrote was about two friends who try and commit a murder, sort of based on the Leopold and Loeb story.
You always promised to send it, and you never did. You're always too nervous to send it to me.
I think it's probably terrible.
I'm sure it is. It's a first screenplay, but it doesn't matter.
I wrote it on a manual typewriter, living in New York City with a manual typewriter. Yeah.
This is going to bring Molly. Our ship has come in. This stuff is gold.
Yeah.
Instead, having never watched any of these movies, you decided, I know what I'll do. I'll show these people. Right? How hard can it be? I don't watch the movie.
There's about two friends, and they conspire to kill the ex-girlfriend of one of them, who's I don't know, blackmailing them or something. I mean, the premise is quite derivative, but it's all in the details. It's execution dependent, as we say in the business. One of them was a lepidopterist, a butterfly enthusiast.
It's like reeks of first screenplay. Someone's read some Nabokov and decided to write a screenplay. I know. What did people like? Murder. But what do I like? Butterflies.
One of them is a cellist as well.
Oh, fuck off. What? Don't ever send it to me. I'm not going to read it.
He's a cellist in the orchestra of the English National Opera.
God, insufferable as a screenplay.
Shit. Why is it?
Cellists and lepidopterists and murder. I mean, you couldn't, if you gave the algorithm the shittiest possible version, that's what it would come up with. Please write an absolutely pants screenplay that no one will ever watch. Here's what I came up with. Here's what I came up with. A cellist, a lepidopterist, and a blackmailing girlfriend that two guys have to murder. And they're in the orchestra. Fantastic.
Just one of them is.
Oh, one of them.
He's a cellist.
What's the other one do? What does the other one do? He's an architect.
I don't know. He might be, actually. I think he actually is.
Oh, my God. Thank God you never showed that to anyone.
I still have it.
I'm sure. One day they'll recognize.
Typewritten on foolscap.
So terrible.
The Morning Cloak, that's what it was called.
It's a good title.
M-O-U-R.
Naturally. Is that a butterfly?
That's a butterfly.
Of course it is.
Yeah, The Morning Cloak.
Not a good story.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to know what the actual story was, but I was very serious about it at the time. I had index cards, everything.
It's funny to think that you probably thought it was really good.
Of course.
And now you can see all the things in it that you immediately go, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's what comes of an education, I guess.
Well, the thing is, it probably wasn't even a good version of something we've seen a million times. It was a bad version of something we've seen a million times.
You got to get it out of your system. First couple, you got to get it out of your system. No question. I'd love to read some of the dialogue. I bet it's so bad.
It's probably very on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Are you telling me that she is?
She's blackmailing.
What am I going to do?
I just wish somebody could get rid of her.
Yeah.
One of them, Philip, stop playing the cello for a moment. I have something I want to discuss.
Got some butterflies I want to show you.
Yeah. The thing I wanted to do about it was that I wanted the actual murder to be, and this is not hugely original, but the murder to be depicted as a murder actually would. You know what I mean? That it becomes
difficult,
so difficult and messy, and she struggles, and it's just horrendous. Not putting a pillow over someone's face for 15 seconds.
Right. Well, that part sounds good. Yeah. But that doesn't sound like it belongs with all the other details.
No, that's true. Maybe I'll find it and I should send it to you. Anyway, so let's look at this list again. So I'm whittling down, but basically it's Das Boot.
No, it's got to be Thief. Michael Mann. Jimmy Caan. Come on, who could resist? You've never seen that? That's brilliant. And Michael Mann is a.
I do like Michael Mann. Yeah.
But it's funny.
Oh, what the? Whoa, this guy, Jesus
coming
Christ.
in hot.
I'm surprised he didn't take your front bumper off. This
He
guy
gave it a
pulling
go.
right into his driveway in his Mercedes or whatever that is. Oh,
Volvo.
Wow, he
meant
there
it.
was a real sense of ownership there as he pulled into the spot.
Maybe I was a little too far forward. I don't know. He seems to have no problem.
Let's see if he comes out of the car with a baseball bat and starts approaching us. My father used to keep it wasn't a baseball bat, but it was a baseball bat like tree branch, like a big honking piece of tree underneath the front seat of his car.
Wow. Just in case.
Called it his head basher.
This is a side of your father I've never heard about. He just came out and spat in his own driveway. This is the photographer.
Would I be friends with this man?
No. Guy wearing a beef barn. He's already given you dirties.
He's wearing a what shirt?
Beef barn.
What's that?
I don't know. It just says beef barn. Anyone who wears a shirt that says beef barn, you got to wonder.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
he's giving you such dirties.
I'm not looking at him now.
He's giving you the evils.
Thinks we're staking him out or something.
We are. We're coming for you, mate. Oh no! Look, now he's a nice guy because he's talking to the little girl next door. See, it all changed.
Well, there's a way to talk to little girls that isn't so nice. I don't know if you...
No, look, it's sweet. That's
Very
funny.
cute.
That's funny. See, that's screenwriting right there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, not yet. You could pick up some tips. You see, you came in one way. The way you drove in was one thing, and now the way he's talking to her, a totally different thing. All in silence.
Well, I didn't say that he was or wasn't a certain kind of person. I said, would he
was
not
a
be
murderer?
friends? And you said no.
Murderer.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you live here all the time. There's no escape. Escape from New York. There's no way to get out. It just goes on and on. I'm different now than I was before.
But you know, this is nice, isn't it?
It's very nice for now, but then it gets hot and everyone's here, there's people, and you can't... I want a bit of quiet and some grass and some...
I mean, I want that too. It's just, you just don't get it.
Yeah. This reminds me of when you made your movie Cry Funny Happy. Your first, there's a Vishla. Looks like a young Coco. Mm-hmm. When we made Cry Funny Happy and you let me be in the opening of the movie, I have a little cameo. I think I speak the first line in the movie. I say JFK, he's trying to get to the airport.
That's right.
And I remember I showed up. I had no idea how a movie was made or anything. And
Nor did I.
Showed up and I think I pitched some like scene to you where I was going to be like passing out religious pamphlets or something to the character, and you just said that's too much, and I was a little stung for a minute or two, and then I just did what I was supposed to do.
Pamphlets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were trying to shoehorn all these different things in.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's funny to think of how bad I might have been at these things. Yeah, I'm still bad. Oh, there goes the Vishla.
That's a cute dog.
All right, this is it.
This is it.
I'm going to go to my car and see you next time.
Sounds good.
On the Zoom, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So long.
And that's that. Next week, we get into Michael Mann's debut feature, Thief. According to Wikipedia, it's a neo-noir heist action thriller film. It stars James Caan and Tuesday Weld, and it's got Willie Nelson in it, and a young Jim Belushi. Check it out if you have a chance. Bye for now.